inspiration and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Thus, it is concluded that the Lord's energies are inconceivable. No one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word jugglery. Purport. A question may be raised as to why a devotee should refrain from identifying an actor, although he knows definitely that the Lord is the ultimate doer of everything. Knowing the ultimate doer, one should not pose himself as ignorant of the actual performer. To answer this doubt, the reply is that the Lord is also not directly responsible, for everything is done by His deputed Maya Shakti or material energy. Material energy is always provoking doubts about the supreme authority of the Lord. The personality of religion knew perfectly well that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, and still he was put into doubts by the deluding energy, and thus he refrained from mentioning the Supreme Cause. This doubtfulness was due to the contamination of both Kali and the material energy. The whole atmosphere of the age of Kali is magnified by the deluding energy, and the proportion of measurement is inexplicable. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananandasya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvayecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Yata Yata Yasmin Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet Vishrite Vipriyatinsya Shri Chaitanya Namanamitam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. You cannot underestimate the power of the illusory energy. Krishna is everywhere. He's in charge of everything. Not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. But yet, we are not conscious of Him. Our ignorance is so bad. Just like, I don't know if you've ever went into a room somewhere, maybe you're searching for something, or you're just like, your mind was somewhere else, in the room. And you're looking for this thing, and then all of a sudden you notice there's someone in the room. But you're startled. You're like, oh, I didn't know you were here. You're just so absorbed in your task. So, similarly, Krishna is present in your heart. He's in the atom, He's in between every atom. And everything is moving by His grace, by His potency. It's His energy. And we're still unconscious of Krishna. I didn't know He was there. So this is all due to the power of the illusory energy. Davye Shigunamani Mamaya Tarantiya Mamaya Tarantite
Mam Evai Prapajante Mayam Etam Tarantite.
That Krishna says that this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. Krishna is saying that. It's like next to impossible. But if you surrender to me, it's easy to cross over. So the way to cross over the material energy is just to remember Krishna. This is our practice. Somehow just always try to remember Krishna and never forget Him. So we see in this pastime here that some wrongdoing has been done to Dharma the bull. The personification of Kali has broken his legs, and Parikshit Maharaj, being the righteous king, has said, "Who has done this to you?" I never thought this could happen, that someone could beat up a bull. And the bull has replied, it's hard to say. It could be my past reactions, it could be just providence, it could be anything. He could have just said, hey, it was him, kill him. But he says, even one who points out the perpetrator, they are as guilty as the perpetrator. That doesn't make any sense. How? Someone did something wrong to you, and you said, you did this wrong to me. It's your fault. But no, you are also just as guilty. Because we are playing the victim. This material world is known as Durga. It's a prison, a fortress. And I don't know if you've ever met a prisoner before. They always think they're innocent. If you talk to any prisoner, I didn't do it. These guys set me up, I was praying. They all think they're innocent. But any free citizen could tell, no, you're guilty. You did the wrong thing. You did the bad things. So now you're in prison. So being put in the material world proves that we're guilty as charged. Some punishment is due to us. Very hard to swallow, especially for the ego. The ego thinks that I'm always trying my best. When someone does something wrong to us, we're ready to blame this person. They're just not onto it. They're just lazy, or they're just confused. Or it's all their fault. But when we do something wrong, we're quick to forgive ourselves. So the nature of an enlightened person, a brahmana, is shama, forgiveness. But for ourselves, we give ourselves a hard time. We didn't get up from Mangalari. We're just lazy. The Bhagavad Gita says that those residents of Kali Yuga are sumanda mata matiyo. That they're very slow when it comes to spiritual life. They're lazy, always disturbed. Does that sound like you? No, it doesn't sound like me. Your ego will tell you that. The false ego says, no, I'm actually very intelligent. Actually, I'm very competent. Look at my degrees. Look at my certification. Even if you don't have a degree, it's like, yeah, I have street smarts. We always argue the case how we're competent and innocent. But no, the Shastra is revealing the truth. We are in illusion. We are a conditioned soul. What are the 4 defects of such a conditioned soul? Your senses are imperfect. That's number 1. So then if you have imperfect senses, then you have imperfect knowledge, imperfect information. With that imperfect information, number 2, you commit mistakes. And when you commit mistakes, you have a tendency to cover the mistakes or cheat. That's number 3, we cheat. And because you live the lie, you believe the lie, number 4, you are illusioned. This is the nature of the conditioned soul. Everyone thinks, due to false ego, I am this body. Your senses, your mind tells you, I'm this body. This is who I am. Me. And then we make the mistake that everything is about the center of the universe is my body and what I need. And everyone else, they're for mine. They're supposed to give pleasure to my body. And then you cheat yourself, you believe the lie. And if anyone threatens your illusion that I am this body and the center of all existence is to give pleasure to this body, and someone gets in the way and doesn't give pleasure to your body, then you are ready to fight that person. That's the nature of war. So just if you look at between countries, It's like, okay, you're on this side of the line, I'm on this side of the line, I don't like you. You know, but anyone who's on my side of the line, very good. You know, this India-Pakistan partition is a prime example of this. It was both one country. And then when the British left, they caused some politics, and so they couldn't be as strong. And now, even to this day, they're fighting for no reason. That line was never there. What to speak of the other lines separating all nations? But what does Krishna say? Krishna says that that all living beings are my fragmental parts and parcels. They're all my children. I'm the seed-giving Father. So why would you fight your brother, your sister, in whatever body they're in, or whatever geographical situation they're in? It makes no sense. So we can see the power of the material energy. That even though we may play the innocent role, we are guilty. And then by the power of this innocent role, we feel like we can exploit others, put them down. This is the nature of the materialist. Shri Shri Radha Nandanishwara ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki Jai. Giri Govardhana ki Jai. So this world is known as those consisting of those who are cheated and the cheating, or just being exploited or exploiting others. I feel so much better when I see you suffering. But that's not the nature of the pure soul, Mahatmas. They are para dukkha dukhi. They feel the suffering when they see others suffering. They want to relieve their suffering. But due to the influence of the illusion energy and Kali, we're out to exploit each other. That's a prison house. That's what prisoners do to each other. They think their whole world is consisting of this material, this prison suit called the material body. And my most important people are my cellmates, my family, my nation, my society, my species. My species, you know. Is animal killing for food. You know, they're ready to kill their own mother, the cow. Sastra says that the cow is one of the mothers. They're ready to kill and eat their own mother. But, you know, a dog, yes, man's best friend. Speciesism, all these isms, colonialism, racism, it all stems from being caught up in the illusion energy, which is like that prison house. So we need to break free. What a terrible situation. So how do we break free? We need to remember the Lord. We need to see how the Lord is there in every aspect of our lives. Otherwise it's just prakriti kriya manani guna kamani savashaha ahankara vidurama kataham vimanite. Once you think you are the doer, you are the center of existence, then you're just covered by the three worlds. You're just viduratma. So Buddha means like fool. V is like super fool. I'm the false ego, ahankara. You think I'm doing everything. Okay? I'm the center of existence. Once you start to point the finger at someone, then it's all about you. So everyone feels sorry for me and attack that person. But once you start to remember, no, Krishna is in charge. Krishna is trying to purify me. Krishna is trying to release me from this illusion. Then Krishna is in the center. Tate nakampa shushamik shamano gunina pakitam vipakam hipa bhakabinda nakta namaste jivedi yomitis kade sadaya bhak. Lord Brahma prays. This is a verse, you can write it down, 10:14:8. It's a very nice verse. This is the verse that describes the attitude of gratitude. So Lord Brahma prays, oh my Lord, your devotee patiently waits for your mercy. At the same time, he's suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds. While he's suffering the reactions, he's worshipping you with his heart, his body, and his words, and his mind, sorry. And in this way, the spiritual world becomes his rightful claim. So what's being commentated on this verse is that just like the son of a rich man, so for him to get the money of the father, he just has to stay alive, right? Then he gets the cash. So similarly, for us to get the spiritual world, we just have to stay alive in Krishna consciousness. Somehow with your heart, remember the Lord. Somehow with your body, do some service. Somehow with your tongue, chant the holy name. Despite whatever reverses come. And you think that, this is not for me. Who's done this before? If you read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, I don't know, the first chapters are quite depressing. It's all failure. And Prabhupada, his typewriter got stolen, the manuscript got stolen. He's asking his God brothers, please support me. They don't support him. He tried to preach while being a grihasta. His business failed. He got invited to Japan at this meeting, and he wanted to do this Light of the Bhagavad book, and he just needed a sponsor for a ticket. No one would sponsor him. Even in New York, he stayed with some crazy guy and nearly got killed. And he just walked out of the Bowery and didn't know which way to go. He ended up with Michael Grant. They ended up with the Manchester Hospital. But still, even there, so many problems. Problem after problem. But Prabhupada still kept going because he remembered the Lord. He showed the example. No, this is just, I still have this service to my spiritual master. I have to fulfill it. I have to keep trying. There's nothing that's going to stop me from letting go of this instruction. He showed the example. You look at the Pandavas. They lost their kingdom like twice, practically. And then being, ostracized and killed so many times, tried to, attempted murder. And they were with Krishna. But their focus, the whole thing about not being affected by the circumstances was just like, I will serve Krishna no matter what. Whatever Krishna wants, I will do. This is true ego. So false ego means I am this material body and everything's for my enjoyment. But true ego is that I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, I am his servant. And everything is for his pleasure. This is true ego. So, unfortunately, this age of Kali is too strong. You cannot fight it on your own. Doesn't matter, it says here, by mental speculation, by nice words. We always have some motivational speaker putting some quote out, and everyone's like, yeah. But then material energy just covers you over again. You forget everything about that quote. So the only way to be delivered from Kali Yuga is by Harinam Sankirtan. Harinama, 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 Evikeva. Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatiya, Nita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended with Lord Nityananda and delivered everyone in Kali Yuga by the two Bhagavats. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. This is, we take shelter of these two. Because all our illusion will be dissipated. All the darkness created by Kali Yuga will be dissipated by the Srimad Bhagavatam. All our ignorance will be destroyed by the spiritual master. Tat vidi pradipatena pranabhisena sevya upidik shantite jnanam jnanas tat vidarshana. Krishna says, just approach a spiritual master, inquire from him, submissively render service. These people can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. They can see you as a spirit soul, servant of God. They can see Krishna. They have love for Krishna. Aham savasya prabhu mata savam prabhatati iti matra bhajati mam buddha bhava samamita. that they can understand that all spiritual material worlds emanate from Krishna. And the wise who perfect know this, they worship him with all their hearts. Buddha, Bhav, and Samavita. Those who are intelligent. Buddha, Bhav, and Samavita. They fall in love with Krishna. Their love, even in heaven or hell, they still are in the spiritual. They see Krishna everywhere. Just like when a parent or a mother sees the shoes of the child, straight away they think of the child and they're thinking about how cute the baby is and how he plays and all his activities and I love my child so much. They're in that world. They're seeing only shoes though. It's not like they love the shoes. So similarly, a devotee, pure devotee, is seeing the energy of the Lord. And suddenly, so many things just remind him of the Lord. This is what it means to be in Krishna consciousness. In Nityam Bhagavat Sevya. Always serving the Bhagavatam. We can see the Bhagavatam everywhere around us. We can see the Gita everywhere around us. Shivaram Swami in his book on Japa, he gives a very nice example. So, if you, Krishna, he is blue. And Srimati Radharani, she is golden color, yellow. Right? So if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. So you go outside, you see grass, you see trees, you see so much green. So straight away you think, oh, Hare Krishna, you think of Radha Krishna. So actually, this material world becomes an impetus for you to remember the Lord. It sounds like some trick, some mind gymnastics. But no, this is reality. Krishna is there everywhere. The pure devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj, is always absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. Sometimes he's laughing, he's crying, he's happy, he's in separation. Because sometimes he sees his Lord, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he remembers the pastime of the Lord, and he's happy in that. So, even though this consciousness in the material world, in the prison, it looks like, you're crazy, why would you follow the government? These guys, this government is going against you. That's the people in the prisons don't like police, they don't like the government. So those in the material world, they don't like God. They want to forget God. They want to put God out of the picture completely in every facet of life. But the pure devotee is putting God back into the prison. And he's turning the prison into the spiritual world. This is how it's done, by executing the instructions of the spiritual master and by executing the instructions of the Bhagavatam. The spiritual master has given us so much mercy to deliver us from this material world. How do you repay such a debt? Actually, it's impossible. You're crazy. But one can try by preaching, by somehow getting others out of that illusion, engaging them in Krishna consciousness. And the most easiest and sublime way is by chanting the holy name, dancing and chanting. This is how Mahaprabhu did it. If you look at the instruction of the introduction of the Bhagavatam, it's the life of Lord Chaitanya, chanting, dancing, and feasting. You need to engage people in the same thing. And then we see that the Bhagavatam is revealing Vyaktakara Bhagavate Karabharabha Kali Yugadam Nam Sankirtanasara, that the essence of Dharma in Kali Yuga is Nam Sankirtan. Nam Sankirtan. Chanting and dancing. And this effect of Kali will be removed completely. Goloka Pramada Harinam Sankirtan. That the spiritual descends when dancing and chanting takes place. People feel so much relief when they hear the holy name, when they meet a devotee, when they see the deities, when they come to this temple, even though they have no idea what's going on, they feel like, wow, I feel so relaxed here. I feel so relieved here. Devotee, when they meet a devotee, they've never met anyone like this before. Because devotees naturally want to serve. They naturally just want the best for that person. They're everyone's well-wisher. There's no better person than devotees. We say it every morning. Vanchakalpas tarubhascha kripasinubhyavicha patitana pavibhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. We don't really focus on the meaning too much. You know, they are like kalparikshas, desire trees. Think of the life we're living now is so amazing. Why? Because of a devotee. Devotees are beacons of mercy because of the service they're doing. They're emanating blessings. You know, I don't know if you experienced it, but I remember during all the lockdowns, and you couldn't see devotees. I was in Australia, I was like in my van, had full of books, and Australia had crazy lockdowns. So what would happen, I would preach in an area, and then they'll lock down that area, and I had to it'll be like a snap lockdown. So I had to get out of that area, you know, by 4 p.m. It was crazy. We had like a Rath Yatra in the Gold Coast, and you know, they had this whole plan, and then on the news, nope, snap lockdown. So then they had to move the festival earlier so everyone could get out of the area who came from outside. So we were like, oh my God, also, you know, we did Rath Yatra, we rocked there, we prayed to Jagannath for mercy, and then we had to drive 4 hours to get out of the area. We had to drive to Gympie. And there was this big line of cars and everything. So I'm going to like places where there's no temples. There's like the nearest temple is like 20 hours away. So then I'm like, for weeks, I don't see anyone with tilak. I don't know if you, like, I'm so used to being around the world saying tilak, oh, you know, yeah, whatever. The word is Hare Krishna, yeah, whatever. But then you don't see them, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to look at these foreheads, you know. And then I felt like, am I the only one left? You know, devotees are so rare. They're so rare. You know, where's the prasadam? So, devotees, they are like desire trees because they can give you Krishna. They can give you true happiness, actually. They're oceans of mercy. They really go out of their way to help you. And I felt like this. I remember I went to the temple, this is when I first started coming. And I loved the kirtan, I would dance like crazy. You know, touching the ceiling and all this stuff. And I had this huge cut during the kirtan on my foot. And these people didn't even know me. You know, it's not like I just started coming. And I remember reading the books, especially Gita, reading the 16th chapter of the Divine and Demonic Natures. And after reading that, I go, oh, I'm a demon. So, and I thought, government and association devotees, I go, okay, I understand if they want to keep their distance from me so I don't contaminate them. But no, they were very kind, you know. And when I cut my foot in the kirtan, and straight away they look, oh, okay, come with me. And full attention, okay, wrap your foot up, and you know, are you okay? Yeah, cool, okay. Jump back into the kirtan again. But it touched my heart that devotees would care for you so much. I never experienced that outside devotee association. Unless you really knew each other, you were friends for like 10 years, and even then it was still like, didn't really come so close to do. They're servants. They're servants of everyone. And yes, this is, Devamrita Maharaj says, this is our greatest commodity, the personality of a devotee. So you may think that amongst devotees we're just ordinary, but to them, to people who don't experience devotee association, it's like, I never met a person like this before. You are all amazing. So we have to make everyone a devotee. That's the nature of the spiritual. And the easiest way to make a devotee is if they chant the holy name just once. That's what Lord Chaitanya said to Satyaraj Khan. What is a Vaishnava? He chants the name once, Krishna. And then he asked next year, after next year, he goes, oh, what's a Vaishnava? One who chants all the time. And then the third year he said, what's a Vaishnava? One who makes other people chant the holy So we have to become that kind of devotee. Just when they see you, Hare Krishna! It's happening. You know, we walk from the flat to Mangalati, and you know, you see some guy just like from the night before, and he's like like this. And I think, oh, I have to walk quick past him, you know. So I walk past him, and then he just said, Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! I was like, oh, Hare, okay, you know. He's blessed. You remember Krishna. He's out of the clutches of Kali. He's out of the clutches of this prison house of illusion. Just standing there. Mamcha Vircharana Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagana Sametatam Brahma Viyaya Kalpate. That if one unflinchingly in all circumstances performs bhakti yoga, he at once transcends the three modes of material nature. He's on the platform, Brahman. He's on the spiritual platform. What is the nature of that spiritual platform? Brahma Bhuta Prasantatma. Nasochati Nakamchati Savasaveshu Bhuteshu One Bhakti Napitepana. Real life starts because you identify as a spirit soul. You're a happy soul, Prasantatma. Nasochati Nakamchati. You don't lament of what you lost, you don't hanker for anything more. You're satisfied. And you see every living entity with equal vision. I know, like, sometimes we see different types of personalities when you're not on Harinam. You're like, yeah, I don't want to get close to that person. You know, you stay away from some people, right? But then, when you're on Harinam, and you're chanting and dancing, you just want to hug everyone. You want to embrace the whole world, you know? It's like, oh, homeless down the street, yeah, come on, dance, woohoo, you know? You want to just give mercy to everyone. You become intoxicated. This is the nature of Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan. Is that you get nectar and you drink it so much, you become intoxicated. You're so intoxicated with happiness. This is how we're going to surpass the material energy. By that happiness, by the mercy of Balaram, Adigu. If you look at the name, Balaram means, oh, he's like very strong. But Rama means like great happiness. So our strength is our happiness that we feel in Krishna consciousness. Rajavija Rajaguyam, Pavichamida Muttamam, Kadakshava Gamagalam, Shushukam Kata Aviyam. This is the king of knowledge. It's the most secret of all secrets. I like it because it's like an open secret. Harinam is like so underground, no one can get into it, you know? You know how like there's like music buffs and they want to be like underground? It's like, I know these things that no one else knows. You know, it's so underground, dude. It's so cool. But yeah, this is like, no one wants to get into it, but it's there open for everyone to join in. It's the most secret of all secrets. And it's the purest of knowledge. And it's a perfection of religion. Savai punso pero damo. Yato bhakti yadokside haitaki yapatiyata yadapma supasidati. To fully satisfy the self, we perform devotional service unto that supreme, that transcendental Lord, without any motivation, without any stoppage. There ain't no party like Kirtan, but because the Kirtan party does. And this is it's the religion of fun, really, you know. Who starts 4:30 in the morning like we did this morning? No one wakes up like that. I don't think there's anyone out there who would wake up and just say, yeah, start dancing. No. Or any religion. Not to blaspheme any other religion. You know, because they're still trying to connect to the Lord. But just the happiness one feels while performing Sankirtan. Dancing, chanting with devotees. It's unbelievable. The worst time you will have in Krishna consciousness still cannot compare to the greatest moment that people have in their material lives. You can't compare. Even the Nectar Devotion says that even a fraction of a drop from the ocean of devotional service cannot defeat the happiness is like 1,000,000 times better than the happiness one derives from Brahman realization. This is the gift of Srila Prabhupada. This is the gift of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That you can experience such amazing happiness. You're overflowing with it. And then you become an instrument of it. That mission of making everyone truly happy. You can become an instrument of it. You can assist in that. And that happiness comes from that love, that true love. Amendriya Pritivali Tadibadakam Krishna Ichi Dare Premanam. That lust, which ends up in anger, frustration, depression, suicide, that's just trying to fulfill the pleasures of this body. You know, so many rich people, famous people, they commit suicide. They have full facility for sense gratification. Why commit suicide? Because they're not satisfied. They've tried everything. Imagine you have full facility, tried everything, and nothing worked. There's nothing left to do. Just end it all. But when we engage in love by giving pleasure to Krishna's senses, then machita matgatapam bodhiyantas parasparam kantayantas chamam nityam tusamtichara manvichara. That the devotees who are fully conscious, they're giving their chitta to Krishna, they're giving their prana, their life to Krishna. They, amongst each other, they converse about Krishna and they feel great bliss and satisfaction. What happens to the materialists who try to engage in sense gratification? Ye sansparshicha bhoga dukhyonyayavate anyantabhanta kuddhe nateshra mahatapura. That just by contact these material senses, you're fully tapping into the source of all miseries. Dukkha means misery. Yonya means the source. Evate. Eva is like certainly, he indeed. So 4 times in one line, Krishna is trying to tell you, don't give in to this sense gratification. Don't touch it. Don't do it. But you may say, no, that's so much fun. Oh, my friends, we go out, we have a good time. The weekend, it's so much fun. How can you say that it's the source of all misery? Because Adi Antavanta Kuntaya. It has a beginning and an end. But you're an eternal soul. You live forever. You need eternal enjoyment. You need a happiness that has no beginning and no end. That can only happen in executing devotional service. The happiness that you feel is absolutely. It cannot compare to the happiness out there. Out there is just like chewing the chew. You know, I don't know if you, in your high school, in my high school, if you look under the table, you find some very nice substances, chewing gum. Imagine that, you get some of that, and you're trying to get some juice. Ah, man. This is how we look at their sense gratification. It looks like they're having so much fun. Well, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells a very nice story. One time there was the greatest circus in the world came to town. And, you have to go. So people lining up for tickets, especially one guy, he camped out for like 3 days. And he's like, okay, I'm in the front of the row, I'm going to get to see this circus first, it's going to be amazing, you know? So he's hyping himself up so much. And then they open the ticket booth, he buys his ticket, and you only one person at a time can go in though. So he goes in first. And first I go inside. And it's completely empty. And then there's this spotlight there on one man. So he walks up to the man in the spotlight, and this big guy, he just beats him up. Bang, bang, bang. Right? And he says, get out! And he walks out, he's all beaten up, right? And then everyone in the line waited to go in, they go, how was it? And he goes, oh, it was so amazing, you don't understand, this was the greatest show in the world, I loved it so much, I cannot describe it to you, and it is so amazing. So that's what happens in the material world. Everyone gets punched up by Maya, and then they advertise to everyone else, yes, I'm having a great time, I'm actually enjoying, don't you know, I'm making all this money, don't you know I have all these things that's making me so happy? No, it stresses you out more. That's what Vamanadev told Bali Maharaj. He's, why are you asking, you small boy, why are you asking for only 3 steps of land? I own everything. I can give you a whole planet. And then Vamanadev says, well, if I cannot be satisfied with 3 steps of land just to lie down, what makes you think that I can be satisfied with more? Something more like a planet. It's just increasing the anxiety more. We have to go to Vaikuntha. The spiritual world is known as a place free from anxiety. And that can only manifest here, in the embassy of the spiritual world. It can only manifest in devotee association, where there's prasadam, where there's kirtan, where there's discussion of Krishna, Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Prasad. This is where the spiritual world is. And we have to give them a taste of the spiritual world. And that's how Srimati Radharani increases her love and happiness for Krishna. When she sees that someone can serve Krishna, out of her humility, she feels that this person is better than me. She feels 10 million times more happiness. And then Krishna himself saying, what the? I'm supreme enjoyer here. And this person, is supposed to be my servant, and they're enjoying more than me. What does that taste like? So then he descends as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste that devotional service, that love that Srimati Radharani is tasting. Krishna wants to have enjoyment, so he becomes a devotee. And there's a verse, I want to remember it, but it says the most ambitious position in this whole universe is to become a servant of Krishna. This is the way to be free from the diluting energy of the material energy. So, if there's any comments or questions, can I ask? Yes, Urga.
Krishna. In the beginning you made this point about, and you quoted Harinam Kevalam Kalonas Devyatyanta. Shastri Praman for how Harinam is the way for getting free from the effects of Kali and contaction. So no one has any doubts about this. Just my question is, we see that in Harikrishna movement, but not everyone is engaging in Harinam Sankirtan. So, but you also meet people like there's so much engaged in devotional service, they're so absorbed, like you would even say they're not even touched by the material energy. Even the way you can see like serving the deities so nicely, like wow. And maybe they don't even leave the temple.
Yeah.
So would you say this is like an extension of the Sankirtan movement, or like how do we reconcile like those devotees that are like so wonderful not doing Harinam Sankirtan?
Yeah, so there's so many aspects of devotional service to be engaged in. So the 9 items of devotional service, so hearing, chanting, and worshiping the deity is one of them. But if we still, there needs to be, Jiva Goswami says that such deity worship has to be preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name. So it doesn't mean like, even though they're worshipping the Lord, it doesn't, like in the form of the deity, they still need to chant. We have instructions when we take initiation to avoid these 4 sinful activities, but then we have to chant the holy name. So still there is chanting going on. In terms of going on the street, that may not happen, but in the temple still kirtan is going on. They will play it while they're cooking, they'll sing while they're cooking. I know some devotees, like while they're dressing the Lord, they're chanting the holy name. I've seen that in Bali. You just like, it's time for japa, and they're dressing the Lord and doing the puja, and you just hear from the background, behind the curtain, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. You just hear them chanting. Because Hare Krishna is Radharani Ishvara. It's not different. It's not like a different thing. And actually, we need deity worship because of this impersonalistic mentality. When we just have holy name, we tend to feel like, oh, it's just an energy that, we get absorbed in. But when you have the form of the Lord and you wake them up and you brush their teeth and you serve them food and you ask them to sit down and let's wash your hands and feet and mouth, okay? It's like very personal. It's as if you would probably do the same thing in the spiritual world. So, both is required, the Pancharatrika Vidhi and the Bhagavat Vidhi. The Bhagavat Vidhi means hearing and chanting. But the Pancharatrika Vidhi means deity worship and the items surrounding deity worship. And then we have the instruction from Srila Rupa Goswami that if you look at all these items of devotional service, they mainly surround the deity. If you don't have a deity, you don't have a temple. And you don't have all these services for maintaining that building. If you don't have a deity, you don't have Mahaprasada. So it's all, if you don't have Maha, you'll think twice of going out on the street also. So all these things are there to support the Bhagavad Gita. So even if maybe it may look like, from the Sankirtan devotees' point of view, but fanatical, they don't go out, they're just inside ringing bells like this. Prabhupada also commented that way about God Brothers, but it may look like that. But if we don't do the morning program and get that beautiful darshan that the pujaris displaying, then we don't get inspiration to go out. So it's a team effort. If the pujari is serving the deity and engaging in that service, then those who engage in preaching, they feel so much inspiration to go out and do something. And when they chant the holy name, they remember the beautiful form of the Lord, and they see the form of the Lord in the hearts of every living entity. That this, you should go back to and worship the Lord of your heart. So it's not separate. Krishna consciousness is very holistic. It's not like, one. But even though if you do all these other services, but, the holy name is not going out, then yes, we have missed the point. If either we either engage it directly or you're assisting others who are going out and doing that. That has to take place. This is Lord Chaitanya's movement. The holy name has to go out. And these items are for that support. But if you just do the support and not the ultimate, just touching people's hearts with holy name, then yes, it's missing the point.
Yeah, I really like this part. I was seeing this connection that this actually supporting the Harinam.
Hare Krishna. At the beginning you mentioned something about, and I think maybe it was in the purport, about the Lord's potencies are inconceivable, and Prabhupada makes many statements like this, that, or even Krishna makes statements that, I know everyone but nobody knows me, or Prabhupada says that we can never understand the potencies of the Lord. But what about the completely pure devotee? What about Prabhupada? What about different acharyas in our life? Do they fully know Krishna? Or is it just something that nobody ever achieves to fully understand Krishna, fully,
Yes, they do and they don't. And they want to know and they don't want to know. If that makes any sense. Because the nature of the pure devotee is just to develop a relationship with Krishna. So the reason why you want to know more about his energies and how he is as a person is only to increase your love for him. So sometimes in the spiritual world, the Brijvasis, they don't want to know about Krishna's supremacy. So it's like, they don't really want to know. But they want to know about Krishna, what he's done, what he's up to, what he likes to eat. And so there's like two levels of it. So there's like tattva for the conditioned soul. That's why we have the first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, and then the 10th canto, which is all the pastimes of Krishna. So you need to know the supremacy, how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, before you come to his pastimes on this planet. Because you will just see him as an ordinary human being. He's one of us. In India, Krishna is my uncle, something like this. You will just see him as like ordinary personality. So then you can't appreciate his pastime so much. So tattva is the basis for rasa. So even the residents of Vrindavan, they know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but their love overthrows that. Just like in the pastime when Mother Yashoda saw the universal form inside Krishna's mouth. It's like, oh, what happened here, you know? Am I going crazy? Well, I don't have a history of craziness. Is it the demigods? Well, I'm just a village woman here. Why would they care about me? But is my Krishna Bhagavan? And then she started freaking out because, you know, all the mistreatment, just like Arjuna. Oh, I called you, hey Yadava, hey Saka, and my friend, hey Yadava. We laid in the same bed, we ate together. So much disrespect I did to you. I offer my obeisance to the front, from the back, to the side, again and again, I offer my obeisance to you. He was like struck with wonder. Same way Mother Yashoda was. And Krishna didn't like it, so then he puts this yogamaya potency, where her love is increased further to overcome this new knowledge of his supremacy. So then he's crawling like a baby, and she's like, oh, and then breastfeeds him, like that. So pure devotee does know, but their rasa, their love for Krishna, and due to this yogamaya potency, will overcome it to increase the pastimes, to increase their love for the Lord. So the goal of the pure devotee is to have knowledge for the point of increasing love for the Lord, intensifying that. Is that? Thank you very much. Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Yeah.
Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Go Krishna.
Evil.